welcome to EVE Online. My name is Matilius258, in-game character name Saris Van Dalen. This is the third video on the UI and the skill mechanic of the game. Thing I need to say, first of all, this is after Phoebe, with all the ship UI being redone. And also, there's the possibility of a new coming out for the Neocom, which is this thing over here. So stuff might change in how it looks. I know they're going to get rid of color and make everything look more new. So just keep that in mind. Anywho, let's begin. So, this is the station UI, because outside in space it's slightly different. To your left is your Neocom. It's basically just your toolbar of everything. It gives you access to whatever you need. And if you click up here, it will also give you more options you can do. Towards the bottom, your inventory. This will show you what's in your ship, what ships you have, and also your item hanger, which will show you all the stuffs you got. Then there is the chat box, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then towards the right, for the station UI, you have the station services window. Basically, what this entails is it will give you access to what the station can provide, such as agents. If you move up, it can give you all the services, such as chip fitting, reprocessing, the repair shop, and the loyalty store. Then going up again, you have these two buttons. One goes to your captain's quarters, which is basically a fancy 3D UI for, ship management. If you have a good computer, you can walk around in your little character. Unlike me, who can't. The other one is on dock, which is just you on dock. And the top is the name or the owner of the station you're in. While I'm here, another fancy UI trick is that this button here, unpin and pin, will make it so that if you come into the station later, this would not be here instantly. It also changes the opaqueness, because if it's going to be there forever, you might want to see behind it. Last thing on screen that you need to know of is this window here. Well, it's not even really a window, it's a list of useful information. It basically tells you where you are, and it will tell you the route, so where you're going and how long it would take there, with 4 jumps, for example. If you have missions, another one would open up, giving you the mission data. And if there was an incursion, another one would open up for incursions. I believe there's another one for faction warfare, but I'm not sure about that. I think there is. So let's undock real quick and see the difference between station UI and space UI. Okay, so what's different? With the new Phoebe release, the overlay, which is these little dots here and those purple or blue squares, all exist. So, let's see, what's different? First, your inventory changes. You no longer have access to everything you own, just your ship and what is in your ship, and that's about it. moving to the right, you get this little window down here, which tells you everything you need to know about your ships, the modules you can use on your ships, and this little area right here, which tells you how everything works. Wait, that's not right. Little functions that tell you stuff about Eve. You know, the actual universe, not how to play the game. Stuffs. Uh-oh, there's lots of people here. Anywho, so, the top window here, or actually no, okay. Anywho, so the top window here, this is your sensor overlay. Basically what it is it tells you locations and points of interest within space. So as you can see with this big circle here with the big red dot in the middle, that is something on your sensor overlay. It tells you there is a explorable anomaly that you can scan down and explore. Other ones, which would have been this one right here actually, provided a green one, which means it's an anomaly that you don't have to scan down, you can warp to it directly. And there are tons of other ones. If you don't want that one up there, you can just hover over and click the eye, and everything will disappear. I quite like that up, so I'm going to put that back up. Also, new stuff that's also appeared with the sensor overlay is personal and corporate and agent objectives. And what this means is that certain areas that you have personally bookmarked in space will also appear on your sensor overlay. So if you have, say, a safe spot somewhere, then that would be what that is. It would show up. Moving down, you got the health, which is pretty self-explanatory. Overheating area, which is a skill and specialized mechanic in the game. Capacitor, which is just the energy of your ship. These hide these buttons, this hides these buttons. Then ship speed control. Over here, this is where you get a little more interesting when it comes to the UI. This, of course, brings up that tactical overlay, telling you where everything is, dependent on this. This is just camera controls. This is the autopilot, which is used for routes. And this is your cargo hold, so it just brings up this window right here. This one, when you open it, comes into 3 different things. The probe scanner, the directional scan, and the moon analysis window. Directional scan, it's basically a brute force way of seeing what's around you. Probe scanner, this is used for exploration, and it also tells you the anomalies, example for the one I'm at right now, which is an ore site. And moon analysis, which is used for finding out the composition of a moon for moon mining, which is advanced PI and POS management. So that's the window down here, and I forgot to mention this, but there is a safety. This just keeps you from doing stupid stuff. So keep that on green unless you want to shoot something. Chat window stays the same. If you have drones on your boat, you get this little window here. Basically what it does is it keeps track of your drones and manages them to make sure they stay alive and are doing what you want them to do. Up here is your overview. This part is mostly explained in the tutorial, so you would know what it is, but I'll give you a quick rundown. It is everything in space that you can visibly see, or it is filled with points of interest and undeniable location. So what that means is a station, Stargate, the sun, planets, things that don't move will be in here, and you can warp to them at massive distances, but somebody's ship, for example, won't, unless you can actually see them. You can change them so they can show different things. so you can get a more accurate and useful overlay, I guess would be the word. To change these, by the way, you go to this button and open Overview Settings. It'll bring up this little window here. First tab, it will be the naming of these tabs right here. And then you can set the name, and then you would set the Overview preset, which just means all the options or things you want to see that would be displayed here. Tab presets is where you actually pick what you want to show, depending on which one. So you'd open it up, find stuff you want, click it, click Save, ask you to save it in the name, and then you'd go back here and which one you want. Other things are appearance, which just changes the color that would display behind here and whatnot. Columns, just which kind of data things you want to use. And everything else you just will never need. Also share, which is a new thing. It literally enables you to, if you're in chat with somebody, drag this to the chat window and talk to the person, and they can literally load what you see, because everybody's overview is different. Okay, after that you get this window up here, which is just basically options you can do with a certain object that you have acted with in space. And these are just the objects you're actually interacting with or have locked onto. Another fancy window that exists in the game is, of course, the right click, which just gives you this basic drop-down menu, and a hold left mouse button, which gives you this radial menu, which will change depending on what you're looking at, but it gives you basic options of what to do. So that's basically the UI. I guess I'll go on to skills next. So, the skills of Eve come in kind of two parts. First is just basic skill training, so just setting up your skill queue and letting it train. The second is making it faster. So there are two ways to bring up your training queue. There's the quick way where you just click this, or you go into your character sheet and go to skills and open training queue. And it will give you this window. The first part is just deciding which skills you need, or want, rather. So, currently now I'm training weapon upgrades level 5, because I need it for something. It will take me 7 days, 7 hours, 49 minutes, 56 seconds. And then I've queued several other skills to train afterwards. So that's basically that. It's just finding the skill, drag and drop, and that's it. Also, another note that is important and new, because this is post-Phoebe, as of a week, the skill training queue for members has become infinite training. Before, you were limited by 24 hours, so your skills, you could only put them in if you had time within 24 hours, so you could put a skill that was 7 days long, but you'd only have one skill that could train. And then once that drops between 24 hours left to train that skill, then you could put something else in. Now, that mechanic only applies to the trials, along with their other restrictions of ships and whatnot. So, the second part of skills is augmentation and neural remapping. Basically what that, okay, so basically what it is every skill has two attributes. This one, electronic warfare, for example, has primary attribute of intelligence and a secondary attribute of memory. And now, augmentation is basically you buy a kind of cybernetic implant off the market, or you get them through missions if you're lucky. You plug them into your brain and you get extra points. And these points are this. So basically what it means is you will have your base of 17 points, whatever augmentations. For me, that's a standard set of 4s, so everything gets 4 extra points for a base of 21. And then you get a certain amount of points that you can then specialize a certain skill. So what the use of this is, if you have an entire list of skills, you have a training plan, you can remap, which will bring up this window here, and you can assign extra points to a certain attribute to speed up the time it would, or to decrease the time it would take to train that skill. So for me, I have memory intelligence because my skill queue is mainly intelligence and memory. So I have those boosted as far as I can. So what this is useful for is it just minimizes the amount of time. So here's pretty much the full list of skills I need to train. It will take me about 120 days, which, since I've augmented it, will only take me about 100 days instead. So 20 days extra that I saved from remapping my brain. However, there is one other aspect to remapping, despite how helpful it is. Wrong button. This neural remap, when you first start, you get bonus remaps, which help you to get all the basic skills, which is what I'm still doing, done fast as possible. After that, you have to use a program such as, I don't know, IFMod, which is what a lot of people, including me, use, where you can literally plan every skill you want and then figure out which attributes you need to boost for an entire year. Because the remap, as soon as you're out of these bonus ones, you can only remap once per year. Remember what I said about the golden rules? You're in this for the long run? Yeah, this is what I was talking about. You have to make skill training queues by the year. Yeah, so that's how skills work. Tip for you, always keep the skills training, no matter what. Skills, because they work in real time, you get 1 point per second, I think. It means that even when you're not playing the game and you're vacationing in the Bahamas, you're still training your pilot. So you better have something there. I had to go, during the summer, I thought I put in a big enough skill training queue. I was wrong, so for about 20 to 30 days, yeah, I think that was about much, I had nothing training. That is a lot of time. A lot of skills. It's mainly due because the infinite bar here didn't exist, but hey, what can you do? There's a reason everybody has been wanting it for such a long time. So that's skills in a nutshell. Other little tips and tricks are for locking onto stuff, just hold Control and click on whichever one you want. So in space, in the silver view, or you can also just right click and lock. So that's the end of this video. Next video will be the first of the career explanation, tutorial, lesson videos, which will be mining career, because as you can see, I'm a miner, so it's kind of easy for me to do. And for anybody who actually knows, yes, this video was actually released afterwards, but that's because the update to change all the UI was not out at the time of making this, or making the mining video. So, this is video 3. Mining is video 4, despite how 4 was released before 3. Oh well, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.